Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
I'm Kristen.
This is So I'm Watching Riverdale, Season 5, Episode 13? 14?
Yeah.
I've been one behind.
No, 13.
13.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Reservoir Dogs. Not accurate thematically, even a little bit.
A plus. Holy moly. For me, at least, this felt back closer to Riverdale.
100%.
I was way more interested in this than I was the first two. I'm trying to think of where to start because I don't want to start at the beginning.
No, that's fine. I'll start somewhere, which is that these shenanigans, like specifically the Betty plot of this episode, these shenanigans were cute when they were 17. She is a full adult. She's been through the FBI Academy. This is not cute anymore. Like, do your job. There's like channels to go through.
Well, she's apparently fired. So,
well, okay. Glenn said she quit,
and then she stabbed him. I don't remember that.
I don't remember it either.
I mean, it checked. I was like, sure, that feels right.
Oh wait, didn't she stab him when Chick and Charles came back?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. I forgot about Chick and Charles. So, well, that being said, I am still entertained with this Betty. I think Betty and Tabitha have really good chemistry.
And also, that aside, that was my favorite part of this episode, was the Betty and Tabitha stuff.
Sure. Betty's still looking for this, what are they calling him? The serial killer.
God, yeah,
it's the Lonely Highway or whatever.
But yeah, he's like operating on the Lonely Highway.
And for some reason, well, they did get the call from Polly.
But that was also like 6 months ago, it feels like.
Well, for them, it was like 2 weeks ago because we had the break. But they got the call from Polly, but then she was possibly abducted by the Mothman.
Right.
Because the booth was in shambles. So she thinks Polly's still alive. I am so curious how many killer truckers are out there because so Tabitha has the bright idea to lure these serial killer truckers to their place of work and their homes and businesses.
And the trap is fully clothed hot women dancing.
Fully clothed 25-year-old women dancing from like a 25-year-old movie.
I was like, yes, the old hot, fully clothed women dancing scam that gets the horny murder truckers every time.
They asked Banks, they're like, you know Coyote Ugly, right? And he was like, the Tyra Banks movie?
Tyra Banks is in that movie for 15 minutes.
So furthermore, but I was just sort of like the cultural touchstones.
Yeah.
Staggering. So she's already been reprimanded.
Sorry, I can't get off this. If anything, Fangs is like a Maria Bello gay. He's not here for Tyra Banks. He's like, you mean the Maria Bello vehicle? Sorry.
I'm like, Isabella Miko. Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah.
Well, because then he goes in with Can't Fight the Moonlight. And I was like, well, that's Leanne. Tabitha said that. Okay.
It's the song from the movie, though.
Oh, I know. Oh, okay. It's Leanne Rimes. Yeah. Because she's in it for 5 minutes.
At the very end. Well, because Piper Parabo's a songwriter, and she writes Can't Fight the Moonlight, and then Leanne Rimes buys it, and then they sing at Coyote Ugly together. So
my shameful secret is I've seen it like once, and I didn't like it. So I don't know if it's one of those that I should watch again, but I was like, this is terrible. When I was like 14, I was like, I'm not interested.
I was like, I loved it. When I was 14, I've seen that movie like 10 times.
I remember watching it with Kelly and I was like, isn't like John Goodman her father?
Yeah. Yep. Sure is. 100%.
No Dan Aykroyd in Crossroads.
I can't.
So yes, these fully clothed 25-year-old women, and it's just like,
I mean, they're scantily clad at best.
Sure, I know, but Fangs is like, who's going to be the dancers? And she's like, isn't it obvious? And it's like, I sort of take with a grain of salt the fact that they're all gorgeous because it's TV, so we're not going to look at uggos. You know, it's like we want the pretty people, but I also sort of imagine that there's like a filter. Like I imagine in Riverdale,
they're like
these are just
sixes across the board.
I do imagine these are like standard, like the supermodels aren't sticking around to save the town.
I can't hottest girls I've ever seen in my life. And you're like, but within Riverdale, 6s across the board. I can't.
At best. I mean, maybe one of them's hotter than the other, but.
Wow. Oh boy.
It's just something I kind of think about when I'm watching a show where I'm just sort of like, well, through our lens, but.
Sure, they can't all be.
In the, yeah.
Well, this is also through the filter of what, like Jughead's book, right? Still, are we still doing that?
I feel like that's the only way the show can end. So,
I'm crying.
It's gonna go so long. So then she gets Kevin. So many people were playing double and triple duty in this.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think
we got a lot of Fangs material, we got a lot of Kevin material, and we got a lot of Reggie material.
I think Tabitha's been up for like 4 days straight. Because she's the only person working in this 24-hour diner.
Yeah. We are also fresh off of the, like, mushrooms thing that she and Betty were doing. So
then Kevin and Reggie come in to, like, vet or snoop on all the truckers that came. They had, like, what did she say, 30 or 40 truckers?
57.
So they put up a sign about, like, it's like a Looney Tunes Acme sign.
Yeah.
Where it's like 2 boobs and an arrow this way. And they painted like a hole on a cliff.
A tunnel on the wall.
And so 57 truckers, I curtail it to this diner.
Yeah.
To this diner with an underground speakeasy to watch these girls dance, whatever. They find one guy there was blood in his truck, and I guess it was nothing, whatever. Well, we mentioned Glenn came back, but she, like, was doing her, we commented on this before.
She was trying to entrap the truck drivers, and then they were trying to arrest her for, like, solicitation.
she was like pretending to hook, and we've commented on this before, and I love this sort of like dichotomy or this dual thing that Riverdale and Betty is trying to have, where it's like she's very pro sex work, because what did she even say?
She was
said,
like, we should be trying to protect these girls, not arrest them. Why are you
spending resources for this?
To which I was like, Betty Cooper says sex work is real work.
No, yeah, and it just like it's interesting, but So she did get in trouble, and Glenn kind of like. Are there any consequences to her actions, or was it just like you better watch out?
Well, I mean, if she's already quit / been fired from the FBI, of which she was not even a full agent, I don't know that anymore. Like, I mean, they clearly didn't.
Did they take her badge and gun?
Well, I mean, she can buy her own gun, but she didn't have it she didn't have a gun at the end, and I don't know if she had a badge at the end either. So
okay, I'm so curious where we're gonna go with this plot, because we are getting towards the end. I mean, stories are gonna start to wrap up, but I am sort of a little bit like, I'm not surprised and I'm not even mad, but it's very gung ho that this like creepy trucker is in fact a serial killer. Like, is he or is he just another serial killer? Is this the guy they're looking for?
I don't know.
He comes at her in the most serial killer-esque way. Like, it was not subtle.
No. Well, there was also like the consistency of jam on his like driver's side door handle.
And so she runs in head first. He comes at her with a knife. She kicks him and stupidly turns her back to call in Tabitha, as if that's the cavalry. Yeah. So now we have 200-pound girls.
I mean, if the point was just like, get me away from this situation, then Tabitha has that boss ass car. But
because then he comes at her with a chainsaw.
Absurd.
I mean, I was entertained.
No,
that's
it was amazing, but
that's like the crazy parts that we love from Riverdale. Yeah. But so they trapped him. They got him.
She fucking fully brained him with a wrench in the face.
I don't have much to say about Veronica's plot. I like it better, but that's a low bar to clear. I think I just prefer the set. I just like that we're looking at something other than Hiram's horrible office.
Yeah, Hiram's office has always been horrible. At least with a lot of the Veronica stuff, we were in like the penthouse, but like this shop is like kind of fun, and they're not doing
and kitschy.
They're not doing that shaky cam uncut gems thing anymore. I do love that she is back in cahoots with Reggie.
I always liked Veronica and Reggie.
A really good dynamic that I dig a lot. So I'm having fun with that. Reggie, it appears, is like not trying to get back in Hiram's good graces, at least for the moment. And in fact, they are stealing investors from Hiram, which I also enjoy. However, we did get a glimpse of Hiram in this episode, and he's obviously not going to go down without a fight, and he's obviously going to find out it's Veronica and Reggie, and he is obviously going to tank their plans. I've seen this movie before, and I didn't like the ending, so...
And I'm not entirely sure what she's doing. I gleaned from what they were saying that she's doing some kind of trading finance business.
Business. Numbers.
It's like investment banking. Yeah.
Sure. Called Pearls and Posh. I groaned the first time and then it grew on me. I was like, that's fine.
That's fine.
Also, does she possess a Glamourget chicken?
Okay. How about I throw in a Glamourget egg to sweeten the deal? Those bitches do not grow on trees. Where are you getting them?
Apparently. I mean, did she climb a beanstalk? Because she's getting golden eggs from somewhere.
I have no idea.
So, oh boy. Cheryl, okay. The Blossom women are some of my favorites. All three. I love Cheryl. I love Penelope. I love Nana Rose.
Yep.
Any reason for Natalie Bolt to be being
extra in a floor-length red thing.
I'm fine with. I just don't understand what it is they're doing, where it's going. And on top of that, it's like, is this not the third, if not fourth time we've seen this exact, come join my cult? It's like, we've done this.
Yeah.
And it's also apparently...
We've been in Cheryl's cult. Cheryl's been in someone else's cult. Penelope sold Cheryl into a cult.
I mean, the Gargoyle King was a cult. It was like... I don't know.
Remember the Sisters of Quiet Mercy?
It feels like we have so been down this road. I do love... Because I thought they were just kind of weirdly worshiping Jason. But I guess it's it's a Christian cult. Well, it's Our Lady of the Perpetual Maple.
That's what I think it said. It's unbelievable.
Just when they're about to lose me, they pull me right back in.
Yeah.
But clearly even the writers know that this isn't enough of a plot, so they had to smash Cheryl and Kevin back together.
Was she just cfound him cruising in the maple groves? Who the fuck is he supposed to find in the maple groves?
Also, he was just like the Marlboro Man.
Yeah.
He was just sort of leaning against a tree with his hat.
Or Clarence the Cowboy.
Yeah, I wasn't entirely sure. Kevin's not entirely sure. Yeah. I mean, I remember that he freaked out and bailed on Fangs, but they're talking about this stuff with the language of such finality that I'm sort of is it not cold feet? Could you not go to therapy or maybe rehab? Or is there not is there not one or two steps that could be taken before they've thrown into the towel to such an extent?
Right. Because I also feel like Tony gave birth 3 weeks ago and Fangs has moved on.
Completely. I'm livid.
Yeah, I'm not in
livid
it.
That they brought Cody Kearsley back.
Yeah.
For
Moose.
one scene, one line. And where did Moose and Fangs what?
Yeah, where'd they meet?
So I was okay. I'm not much of a shipper.
Okay, because, Moose was already gone from Riverdale High when the Serpents came in, so they didn't meet then.
I mean, they met in passing. Moose hadn't left.
He hadn't left?
Yeah, okay. I don't remember. So I'm not much of a shipper, but when I ship hard.
Yeah.
And I ship Kevin and Moose for very specific personal reasons.
Well, also, since episode 1, if there's going to be an OTP with Kevin, it's fucking Moose.
We'll just say I relate.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Moose and Cody in particular really won me over because I didn't fully love him in season 1, but although I found out, because remember he got we were he was never unfit, but he got
super fit.
Well, he got toned, and we were what's going on? I found out he's vegan now.
Ah, okay.
That's what it is. That's all he talks about on Twitter. But no, so there's that. And it just, I understand Cody left to go to a different show. That show ended up being canceled. So it's I understand the nature of Hollywood, how characters kind of can come and go. But there was something about, I'm okay, so we lost Kevin and Moose. Shit happens. We sort of replaced Moose with Fangs. I like Fangs. I have a long and storied past with Fangs.
Yeah.
I think Drew Ray Tanner is actually great.
So cute.
However, it rubs me the wrong way to break up Fangs and Kevin to then give Fangs Moose. It feels weird. It feels weird.
If anything, Moose should have been the one to come across Kevin in the woods and be like, "You still doing this?"
Yeah, I don't know. And because I don't know. It was really odd. It didn't. I don't know. Madeline Petch.
Yeah.
Jewels.
Yeah.
Jewels just fall from her lips. But she had a line reading, "You brought your sacred truth to his profane threshold."
Woof.
Talk about a tattoo.
Yeah. She like also, he was like, I caught them also having wine and cheese. And she was like, it's diabolical.
I like how her clothes kept getting skimpier as the episode went on. She was like,
by the end of it.
It was like one of those Baywatch red bathing suits. It was really great. And I also love how, like, no judgment. We are sex positive. Yeah. But I love how there was no conflict of interest between her, like, coyote uglying and then her ministry.
Yeah.
There was
where she is wearing, like, mostly full necks and sleeves.
It was interesting.
Also, I want to clarify something. I think that Kevin has every right to be upset that Fangs and Moose are dating, but he is in this very, like, well, if I can't have you, no one can, like, I have to get over the nightmare that I'm experiencing, and I'm just like, I mean, this is a prison of your own making. Yeah. You did this to yourself.
And apropos of nothing.
Yeah. You just were like, I don't think I can handle being in a throuple with a baby, and it's just like, that's just, I don't know, I'm just... The Kevin shit, I feel like
I'm afraid we're gonna lose Kevin.
Yeah, what's Casey?
Casey Cott.
Maybe, I just, like, God, I can't believe he stuck around this long. Because if I were him, I would be pissed. I would be as pissed as the Pussycats. To just be like, this is what you're doing with me and my character? Like, ugh.
And because, I mean, even the Kevin and Cheryl, like, the impulse to put them together, I like that, but it's like, I really resent that. So at this point, Kevin has had a, like, presumably intimate, like, that the sort of gay male, straight female best friend. Like, it's a sacred dynamic.
Yeah.
I was like, but he's had it with Betty. Yeah. He's had it with Veronica. Yeah. He's had it with Josie, and now it's Cheryl. And it's like,
he's had it with Cheryl before. They've done the musical.
No, I know. Yeah. I understand that, and it's like, I'm not saying it rings hollow, because it is not uncommon for a gay male to connect, to bond with other, like, it's not uncommon.
Well, also technically, Cheryl's a lesbian.
Sure. But still, it feels disingenuous from a writing standpoint.
Sure.
Like, it's like, well, Betty's unavailable, so we'll just, like churn the wheel and bring the next one in. Like, it's like a rotating. And so that
as if that's the only dynamic that we can watch him in, and then as if all of the girls are interchangeable.
It's the interchangeableness.
And whichever one is free is the one that gets to hang out with him that week.
It's the interchangeableness of that.
You would watching this show today, you would never know that Betty and Kevin were best friends when this show started. Mm-hmm. Best friends. Unbelievable.
We started off by being like, I kind of like this one.
No, it was like...
It was Riverdale shenanigans in a way that...
Exactly, but it's like they have dug themselves into such a hole at this point that it's like the shenanigans are too much shenanigans, and it's not as much of like the zany stuff. It's just very convoluted and
the characters are at the will of the plot. It's
which is wrong.
Yeah. The plot should serve characters. Yeah. And it just kind of, the Cheryl and Kevin, that D storyline, they closed it out with Everything's Alright from Jesus Christ Superstar. One of my favorites.
I think there might be a hidden meaning.
Well, there is. And the show misconstrued it.
Yeah.
But, one of my favorite songs, it was not suited to either of them.
No.
Neither Madeline nor Casey handled it all that well.
I didn't think that either Natalie Bolt or Madeline Petch were correct for the hair song 2 weeks ago either. They're pulling such a deep cut. Nobody wants to do driver's license or something? Like, come on.
Exactly.
I know it's not.
Is it not? Isn't it though?
I know it's not Glee, but I'm fine with like musical theater, but those musicals are like 50 years old.
Mm-hmm. This was not what they thought that song was about. Is not what it's about.
Also,
and they just completely cut around the Judas and Jesus, the woman you find on it's brand new, and it's It was kind of like the... I can't believe we're still talking. We haven't even hit the A plot.
I don't like it. I don't... It's too little. It's too late. I don't know why we're still dealing with Eric. I don't know why Uncle Frank is still here.
Apparently his name is Eric. And
Eric
I was like,
Jackson.
I thought his name was Jackson. We've been calling him Jackson the whole time. That's his last name.
It's like
and
Private Jackson.
Yeah. Authenticity, I guess.
It's not, though. That's not how any of this works. It was really good of them to let Archie time travel back to World War II so his PTSD would be more realistic.
They were in, I was gonna say, 2025 warfare, everybody. They were in World War II trenches. It's the kind of thing that I honestly kind of love. If the rest of it...
Sure, the aesthetic is great. Also,
and I think the nebulousness of the time period is part of the charm of Riverdale.
Okay, here is what I'll argue, though, is because it used to be very 50s, 80s, and today. And now it is, every single character is in a different decade. Because Veronica's telephone was from the early 90s. And she had, like... Hiram had like a rotary phone. She had like a phone with a cord. She had a phone with an antenna at the end that looked like it was Zach Morris's at one point. It's not consistent anymore, and that's my problem.
Well, okay, I agree, but yes, I think that's a very valid point. But I do also think that Riverdale, it's not so much that it's the aesthetic of those three time periods as they sort of go for what the average person thinks, like
sure.
like the Americana. And so, I hate to say this, but I think the average person, when they think of war, they think of trenches. Like, I don't think people, like, especially when you're telling these sweeping grand romantic stories.
Also, I would rather die than watch like modern warfare on Riverdale.
Well, there's just no...
But also, we had to, like, a guy's leg was over there, and it just, like...
I mean, props, especially to the, like, at least touching upon, I don't know what term to use, but when soldiers come home and don't get the help they need.
Oh, yeah, it's terrible.
And Riverdale's acknowledging this, and it's touching on it. It does feel out of nowhere. We had no reason to believe Archie was having this issue until Eric's night terrors. If there was a list of things that I did not need from Riverdale, dogfighting, if not number one, is number two.
Yeah.
Like, if not number two, is number one. I didn't need dogfighting. When he started talking about bingo, I was like, holy shit. And first, it was sad, but then it honestly got to a hilarious point for me. Because he talks about how they adopted their pontoon, or platoon.
Platoon. Pontoon is a boat.
Their platoon adopted a stray dog, and he was like, and the dog didn't make it. And I was like, what? And so it cuts...
They do that.
Oh, well, I know that, but
okay.
I don't know. I guess I'm just not imagining... maybe. I was like, the dogs are in war zones?
The war zones are... generally places people live.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like abandoned or stray dogs.
I didn't need it on Riverdale.
Sure, of course.
And then there's a scene where he's like tending to Eric, and it's, again, full-blown, like, Joyeux Noel, like, World War I warfare.
It's very like the No Man's Land scene in Wonder Woman.
The bombs are falling. And you just hear a bomb, and then this dog is, like, screeching and yelping for, like, longer than it should be. And so it's all off screen.
Yeah.
And so there's a part where it was so shocking and so upsetting that I started, because I was sort of imagining this dog just wandering through the Wonder Woman No Man's Land, and then a bomb landing on it and injuring it. Like,
sure, not killing it, just injuring it.
I don't know. It was so weird. And the weirdest part was, so when we figured out Bingo wasn't a dog, it was a human.
Archie has that exact conversation with Frank, Eric has that, Bingo wasn't a dog, he was like another private.
So I thought this was a psychotic break that Archie had to, like, survive. But then when they bring it up, he's just like, I just didn't want to talk. So he's just, like, he's fully aware that he lied.
Yeah.
That's weird.
But then we also...
I thought it was a coping mechanism.
We also had it then another...
It was bingo. It was bad for... It was bad on Bingo to be yelping and barking. Sure. I can see how it confused Archie when he got injured.
We also had a scene where then we go back to the war zone so that Eric can... so that Eric can tell Archie that Bingo died. And we already knew that Bingo died. I didn't need to see another scene of Archie finding out that Bingo died.
So they did mildly earn that scene because that was Archie's trauma. He woke up from that dream memory.
Yeah.
But when it was happening as we were watching it, it was like, we know this. Why are we doing...
And also throughout the entire episode, Archie is trying to call the VA for Eric. Because my buddy needs help and he can't get an appointment. And the whole time I was like, you need help too.
But I feel like this is just going to be like his alcoholism from season 1 where it was over in less than 2
we're going to be
episodes.
done next week.
And it's like...
He's going to have one appointment with a therapist. It's going to be Gina Torres again and it's going to be fine. Then he's going to be fine. Which is also not the way it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yeah, and then they freed dogs. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Archie went ham on the dog fighter.
I appreciate the impulse to want to tackle real world things, to want to tackle real world themes and real world problems. But if you're going to tackle something like that and do it very quickly and cheaply, it ends up being offensive. And there was just sort of like they beat up one dude who had dogs in cages and now dog fighting is done. But and also, these dogs just need a little bit of extra love. And that's not how it works.
Also, people were traveling from as far as Montreal, which we still don't know how far away that is from Riverdale, but I feel like those people are going to have a problem. I don't know. If you want something cheap that handles the dogfighting thing a little bit more sincerely, and I think in a better way because it's the A plot and it's the only thing going in the episode, there's an episode of Bones where there's a dogfighting ring, and it's actually very satisfying.
I just wish they went the therapy route. Like, I wish getting the dog help
was the therapy.
Eric.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so just the dog plot would have been fine. We didn't need the dog fighting at all. No. Well, even if you want to do Bingo.
Sure.
But the dog fighting was totally unnecessary.
Because the dog was traumatized, as well as every man in that house.
Oh god, they shouldn't be living together.
And the dog bit Eric.
Oh, he was bleeding profusely.
Yeah. And now it's better? I guess they explained to the dog that there's no more dog fighting? I don't know. It ultimately rang...
They took him and just really rubbed his nose in the bleeding guy on the ground, and he was fine then. It
just ended up... like I said, I appreciate the impulse. It ended up ringing...
hollow.
Yeah. So, in spite of all of that, I did get a lot of the Riverdale shenanigans that I do like. I did get characters interacting with each other in ways that I have been desperate for. Yeah. Mercifully, we didn't have to deal with any of Jughead's bullshit.
But it looks like next week is chock full.
So, and for the people asking if we don't like it, why were we still watching it? It's because, we do like it, and also we're gonna finish it.
Also, I want it to be back to the thing that I loved for, 4 years. I want that again. And there were definitely glimpses of that in this episode, for sure.
So, I guess that's it. We probably went for,
a while.
A hot minute with this one, but...
Sorry. Okay. See you next week.
Everything's alright, yes, everything's alright, yeah.